We are live. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is going to be an exciting show for you. This is going to be about how to align with your greatness. And by the end of this episode, you're going to really understand just how amazing you are and what techniques you can use so that you can step into your truth. Because that is what we want for you, is to understand that you are an amazing, amazing person. So for those of you just joining me the first time, my name is Jeff Faldalen, and I am a acceleration trainer and coach. And basically, I show people how to get from where they're at to where they want to be in a very short amount of time. And that's what we do on this show. This is the Jeff Faldalen Show, and I welcome you for being here. And if you're just joining us, please announce where you're checking in from. We love to see where people are, where they're staying and where they're checking in from. So please announce where you're checking in from. That would mean a lot to us. And also, can I get an audio check? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? I want to make sure that people hear me. Can I get you hear me loud and clear, please? So I'm going to just go ahead and press through. I got a question for you. What do you believe about yourself? And I want you to really pay attention to what is it that comes up right away when you ask that stuff, because we attach certain things to that questions that really can affect our ability to step into how amazing we really are. Because have you ever had someone say something to you that you think, where did that come from? I mean, why would they say something like that? Or have them say something very rude to you, and then how did that make you feel? And these are really good questions to ask ourselves so that we can start unlocking what is it that holds us within inside of ourselves. Because as you know, if you've joined me a number of times, one of my favorite quotes is, if we do not make our unconscious conscious, it will control our lives and we will call it fate. So just want to really teach you some strategies on how to make what's going on conscious so that you can change it and so that you can become the person that you desire to become, okay? So what I'm going to share with you is basically is not how to buy in what others are telling you, how not to be offended, how to not take things personally, because we choose to do those things. And I get it's easier said than done. And does that mean that I never am offended? That's not what that means. But I have some tools to help me work through these things when somebody says something to me and I understand why it affects me. And that causes me to go down this path of allowing me to unlock some of the things that make me step more into my truth. And that's what I want to share with you. This stuff has been life-changing for me. I mean, friends, this is all about emotional mastery, and that's what we're here for. So I got a story for you. There was a king of a rich oil company. Now, this king had everything. Now, just imagine this king had everything that he wanted. And he was sitting around his palace one day, and he was bored. And one of his servants come up and he says, "Sir, King, how can I serve you today? How can I bring you pleasure? What can I make for you to make your day great?" Now this king had everything. This king had everything that anybody in the world would ever want. And he sat there and he thought, he's like, what would I want? What do I want? What would make my day? And he says, you know what? I would love to learn how to play golf. And the servant's like, what? You want to learn how to play golf? And he's like, yeah, I would like to learn how to play golf. And they made some connections and found, best place in the world to find golfers. Apparently it's the United States, so they got a hold of a golfer in the United States. And the king calls this golfer and he says, hey, I would like for you to come over and teach me how to play golf. Now the golfer's like, dude, what? Really? I mean, didn't even believe who was calling him. Finally, they got past all that, and the professional golfer finally says, yeah, I'll come over and I'll teach you how to play golf. The king's like, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. It'll be a great time. So golfer goes over and spends a couple, 3 weeks with the king, teach him how to play amazing golf, had a great time, treated this golfer like royalty. Well, the king, it was getting time for the golfer to leave, and he was boarding the plane, and he looked up at the golfer, and he says, the king said to the golfer, he says, how can I repay you for teaching me how to play golf? And the golfer's like, dude, really? No way. I mean, you treated me like royalty, and I just had the time of my life, so no, don't worry about it. You don't have to give me anything. I just had the time of my life, and I appreciate your time and how you treated me while I was here. And the king says, no, I will be offended if you do not tell me what it is that you want and how I can bless you for blessing me. And the golfer's like, sorry, dude. Thought about it for a moment. You know what? Why don't you send me a golf club? That'd be cool. I could handle a golf club. King says, cool, you got it. And so what's important about this call is that how we see our lives is a reflection of how we see ourselves. And I've been getting a lot of comments on my posts about some of the things that I put up in regards to this, and that's why I decided that I think it would be good for us to talk about this evening, because and I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate the comments that people put on my posts, and I appreciate the questions that you ask, because that tells me how I can better serve you. And that's why I'm here, is to see what I can do to help you have an amazing day, an amazing life, an amazing year. So I love opening with this quote, and this quote it's one of my favorite, and it says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not the darkness, that frightens us." We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. Hey, Richard, welcome, man. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure about you. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same thing. We are liberated from as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates other people. And that's by Marianne Williamson. And I would encourage you to really take that on, because anything that is not in line with what I just read is a lie. It's an illusion. And this is what this show is going to teach you about, is how to unlock some of this stuff. Because see, when we get into moments in our lives where we have challenging times, this is where we find out what we're really made of. And we find out who we are. We find the most about ourselves when we are in challenges, in hard times. And this is the test. This is a test of how you communicate with yourself. Now think about this. If you're beating yourself up for how you respond to this challenge, how do you think that's going to affect your desire to grow? How do you think that's going to affect your desire to take risks? How do you think that's going to affect you pushing into areas that you might not get the outcome that you desire? Okay? And this is, your unconscious is going, I don't want to get beat up anymore, so I'm going to pull back from me going out and stretching myself into new areas of life. Because, see, your unconscious might be thinking, well, why do I want to expand? Because I'm just going to get beat up. And your unconscious wants to serve you. Now, you can believe that or not believe that. That's your choice. But I would encourage you to really think about, why do you act the way you act? What is it that determines how you act? What is it that determines how you see your reality? What is it that determines how you see God? Okay? You have a big responsibility in how you do all this stuff, so I'd encourage you to take on the fact that your unconscious wants to serve you. And that's, learning, change, and behavior is all unconscious. So your unconscious is not going to want to be proactive in going into behaviors that you beat yourself up over. So it's really important to understand, how do you respond when the challenge is on? How do you respond to yourself, and how do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake, when things don't go the way you hope they'd go out? How do you communicate with yourself? And this is hugely important, is because, friends, at a primal level, we avoid pain, we seek pleasure. And if you beat yourself up over and over when you make a mistake, or if you do something wrong, or whatever happens, if you keep beating yourself up, that is going to greatly affect your ability to grow. It's greatly going to affect, because it's not a lie, or excuse me, it's not the truth. It is a lie, and this is affecting your four bodies: your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your physical body. Your physical body is literally paying a price for how you talk to yourself. Whether you love yourself or whether you beat yourself up because something didn't turn out the way you hoped it was can. Does anybody relate to this? Because this is one. I was actually going to make a product called Mind Blind at once upon a time, of really getting people in touch with how intimate, on a scale of 1 to 10, how intimately do you know yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, how intimately do you know yourself? And this is what's important for us to understand, is because we are reacting to things that are going on at an unconscious level. But if we're not in touch with how this is happening within ourselves, we're going to react a lot. And that is not the way we're supposed to be living our lives. Reacting can be being fearful, being worried, being stressed out. All of those are reactive feelings and thoughts that we have within ourselves. And if we're not looking at what is causing these things, we're literally abusing ourselves. I mean, that is what we're doing to ourselves. We are abusing ourselves when we speak to ourselves that way. So the way to, and a lot of people, what they seek after is this thing called security. Okay, they want to get to this place that they deem as security, but actually what is going on is that place that they deem as secure is what is familiar to them. okay? And that's where you've heard the saying where you can throw a frog into boiling water, they'll jump out, but you can throw a frog into water and slowly turn up the heat, you will cook it to death because it gets acclimated to it and it doesn't realize how the environment is literally killing it. And that is how we are as human beings, is that we get into these situations and we really don't know how it's affecting us. So security, I really would consider thinking about how, and certainty. Certainty is another thing that we're driven by, but what is certain for you, okay? These are questions that you want to ask because questioning the illusion is the first step to undoing them, okay? And some of the things that I work with my clients is helping them understand how beliefs are way more plastic than what we think they are. Because to make a point clear, once upon a time, you believed you were a certain age. You believed you were 15 years old. Once upon a time, now, okay, before I say this, I need to make sure that there's no children watching this show, okay? Because I know I've got some people that watch it with their kids, and I just want to make sure there's no children watching this show right at this moment for what I'm about to say. Are there no children watching this show? Because if they are, then maybe you want to cover their ears on what I'm going to say, okay? Once upon a time, we used to believe in a Santa Claus, okay? And then we were found out that what the reality of that was, we were able to, I mean, there has been some people that I've worked with that was a pretty traumatic experience, but we need to understand that our beliefs are way more plastic than what we think they are. We can change our beliefs just like that, okay? And what our beliefs are, if you've watched me for a while now, you understand that your beliefs are based off of what you value, okay? So your beliefs can be very, very malleable, and it's a great thing is because, so the reason why beliefs are important to understand is because how you react to life is based off the beliefs that you have about yourself, okay? The reason we get offended about what somebody says or act, the way they act, is because it's part of us that's buying into it, okay? There's this thing that, and it's almost a part of us that we think it's true. So if somebody calls you a name, and you are offended by that, that's because there's a part of you that has probably said it to yourself many times, and you're just reacting to what it is that you say to yourself. So this is really important for you to start inventorying your thoughts and going, okay, and this is where we take it personal, is because a lot of it is how we treat ourselves, right? And then how dare somebody treat us the way we treat ourselves, because I've signed up for that, and I've done a pretty good job on doing what I need to do. And see, friends, if we're not living in our truth, and our truth is what I shared with you at the beginning, that quote, that is our truth. Our truth is we are designed to live in our fullest potential beyond what most of us can even comprehend. In fact, I would encourage you to watch the show Selection right now. There's a series on TV that's called The Selection, and it's really finding out the limit of how far people can be pushed. And it's way beyond what most people think they're capable of doing. We are far more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. And when we are in the stuff, okay, when we're in the stuff, we want it to go away because we don't trust our ability to move through it. And that's why we want it to just go away, but we don't understand that it's part of what we have to do to go through this. And when we get on the other side of it, we believe in ourselves more, okay? So this is, you are an awesome and amazing human being. You are. You are the only one you on this planet ever has been, ever will be, and I can mathematically prove that if you would like. So if anybody wants me to mathematically prove that, I will be happy to show that equation to them. But see, it's really important for you to recognize when your feelings are hurt, there's a reason your feelings are hurt. One is that you're choosing. Now, I get this is easier said than done. But let me explain something to you. If I sat here and I said you're blue, that your skin is blue. Now, there might be somebody on here that skin is blue, but for the most part, I haven't ran into anybody yet that is actually blue, okay? So, but if I sat there and told you that you're blue over and over and over, you would just sit there and laugh at me. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, it wouldn't bother you. You wouldn't be offended by it. You wouldn't react to it, okay? Most people wouldn't. There's probably some people out there that would. But there's no way I could convince you that you were blue. Why? Why do you think there is no reason I could convince you that you were blue? And I appreciate your feedback. Give me a feedback of why I couldn't convince you that you were blue. Okay? Of course, unless you were blue. Then if you were blue, then that's a little bit different. Okay? But as I said, up to this point in my life, I've never seen anybody with blue skin. Okay? Why do you think people that I couldn't convince you that your skin is blue? Because it's not your truth. It is not your truth. And because it is not your truth, you are not going to be offended by it. Okay? And that is what, so it's really important for us to know what our truth is. Because if we don't know what our truth is, then we buy into what other people think of us. And see, one of the biggest things that I deal with people, and friends, I ask yourself this question, and I would really encourage you to really think about this question and get really honest with yourself about this. How much of my life do I live for other people? Now, that doesn't mean serving other people, although it's part of that. How much do I live my life for other people? Meaning, how much do I live my life according to what other people think of me? Okay? And this is hugely important, is because if you're living your life either not doing things or doing things because of what you think other people are thinking you, why are you allowing that to happen if it's not your truth? Because what it is we have this fear of what other people think, but when we really boil it down, when we really dig in and look at this, what we find is it's what we think of ourselves. It's what we think of ourselves that really affect our ability to move into things that might challenge some people, okay? When you step into your greatness, just like you said, it gives other people permission to do the exact same thing. And that's what I encourage you to do, is because you are capable of so much more than what you are able to do. And I would encourage you to take on, continue asking yourself, how do I get better? How do I get better? And it's not that you're not grateful for where you're at. That's not what this is about. It's not like you're running away from something that you are. It's just you want to live your life to the fullest potential. You want to be the best version of you that you can be. It's just like you'd want for one of your children, okay? You want your child to be the best that they can be. That's why you guide them. That's why you nurture them. That's why you love them. That's why you do all the things that you do, so they can be the best version of you. Well, where did you get that? Where did you get that within yourself? Because I believe that is hardwired within us, okay? That's part of our DNA at a spiritual level. Where did we get that? We got that from our Creator. We got that from our Creator, okay? When you look, and for me, I'm a big animal lover. I got my dog. I love my dog. Where did I get the love for that dog? How did I know how that feeling of love came about? Okay? Nobody got inside of my head and flipped some switch and says, okay, Jeff, this is how you feel love. No, but that never happened. Never happened to any of us, okay? So where did that feeling come from? Where did that perception come from? To me, it's from our Creator, okay? That is how God, our Creator, sees us exponentially, okay? And that is why it is in us. That is God in us when we see love in other people and in ourselves. And when we can do that for ourselves, when we can look in the mirror and go, I love you. I love you. You have fought an amazing journey. You have been through some trials. You have earned every wrinkle on your face. Okay? You have you have gone through some things that you never thought you were going to ever make it through. Okay? I asked, what is your greatest hero? What is your greatest hero? And I would encourage you to come up with one, because heroes are a great thing. But see, for me, my greatest hero is that little kid inside of me. It's that little kid that made it through everything he made through to get to be where I'm at today. That little kid had some stuff that he had to deal with. That little kid had some things that he went through that just formed him to be determined, that made him resilient, that made him determined, that made him be what he had to be in order to carry me to where I'm at today. Okay? That little kid inside of me is, I want to love him so he comes out and can be all I can, because that's the most precious part of us, really. That's the creative part of us. That's the curious part of us. That's the part of us that thinks that the impossible is possible. Kids are taught what limitations are. They are taught what fear is. They are taught what conditions are. As children, they do not know that stuff. We have to teach them. Don't run out in the street, okay? They will jump off of, okay, personal story, they will jump off a roof if somebody challenges them to do it. Did it, okay? I jumped into the deep end of a pool and I didn't know how to swim, okay? When we were kids, we were a whole lot more risky. We took a lot more risk. We were a lot more curious, okay? But as time went on, we were conditioned more and more and more and more of how not to be this person that we were designed to be, okay? You were created for awesomeness. You were created to do some amazing things on this planet. And too many people put that responsibility on somebody else of going, God, please bless these people. Why don't you figure out how to bless them? Why don't you? And see, that's the other thing with money is, well, if I want to attract money, that means I'm a greedy person. But what if you took that money and you did amazing things with it and made somebody else that hadn't figured out how to attract money, made their life a little bit better? Okay? These are what we're designed to. We're designed to be resilient. We're designed to stretch. Go work out. You get sore after working out. Guess what happens after you're sore and you work out and it's healed? You get stronger. Okay? That is what happens with our four bodies. The more we stretch our faith, the more stronger our faith muscles become. Faith without works is dead, my friend. So, here's some takeaways I want to offer you. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? And some of my clients, if I have some of my clients on here of going, you stand in front of the mirror, buck naked. How do you see yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to yourself? We are our worst enemy. And the more we learn how to love and give ourselves, it's not being in love with ourselves. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a much more mature love, like in accepting the love that our Creator has given us. That is our responsibility to receive that. Okay? It is our responsibility to choose to lay down the things that deny us of experiencing how much God really loves us. Okay? It is us that chooses to believe in how we see God. Okay? So, how do you see yourself? So if somebody said something, this is, okay, if somebody came to you and said, well, I got somebody on here, I've seen it. So Betty, if I was talking about you, and we were talking, and I was talking to another friend of yours about you, what do you think that person would say about you? And I think it's a great exercise, because how is it that you want other people to see you, right? And when we have these defaults, our behavior starts reflecting that, okay? If we feel like crap about ourselves, we're going to allow other people to treat us like crap. If we don't love ourselves, we will be in toxic relationships. If we disrespect ourselves, we will allow ourselves to be disrespected, okay? Our lives is a reflection of how we see ourselves, okay? Next part of this is not only how do you see yourself, but how much grace do you give yourself? How do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake? Okay? And for me, a mistake is just part of the learning process. Okay? There's things I don't know. There's things that some people look at it and they, and that's great. So do you have compassion towards yourself? That's a great question. That's a great question. How do you have compassion towards yourself? Because when we are communicating with ourselves, how we do that has a huge impact on what our behavior is going to do. Again, our unconscious is listening all the time, and it's be very careful what you say, because opportunity is always listening. Hey, Dwayne, it's great to see you, brother. It's great to see you, man. It's good to see you. So, opportunity is always listening, okay? And if opportunity is all around us, then how is it responding to how you are talking about yourself? Okay, is because I don't believe in luck. Luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. Okay, and if you are prepared when the opportunity sees, you will be prepared in order to acknowledge that opportunity and do what you need to do to make it happen. Friends, this all boils down to really learning how to trust yourself. Okay, learning to trust that God just thinks you're just freaking amazing, right? And you walking that out. Okay, next question for the takeaways. What are you measuring against? What do you measure your life against? Okay, are you comparing yourself to your insides to somebody else's outsides? What do you measure your life against? Okay, because there's no other person on this planet like you. There just isn't. There's nobody that's read the books that you've read. There's nobody that's had the experiences that you've had. There's nobody that sees things the way you see things. Okay, so to compare yourself to somebody else is not a good strategy, unless you're modeling them and you're modeling of going, okay, this person has figured out how to do something very well, and then you figure out what that is, and then you model it. That's a little bit different. But when you're putting yourself down or somebody else down, that is not a fair comparison, because, friends, we are all equal. We are all equal, okay? We are all human beings created by our Creator, and we all have the same opportunity, but some of us have just figured out how to do things differently than other ones, and it's our job to teach the other ones how to get the same thing, okay? So, what do you measure your life against? What do you measure your life against? So, if you do a mistake and then you start going down that path, here's a great question. Who said? Who said that? And then going, how does God see me? How does my Creator see me? And then is that in line with how you see yourself? Okay. Then the third one is, this is the biggest one, you are your greatest influencer. How you talk to yourself. You need to be your best friend. Okay? Because you are the person you spend every waking moment with. And how you see yourself greatly impacts how you think God sees you, or how you think your spouse sees you, or how anybody sees you. It has a huge impact on how you see yourself. Okay, I am a human being. I am fallible. I've got all kinds of issues. I've got all kinds of things that I got to work through. There's all kinds of things, and my heart is pure, and that's why I'm showing up. I want to make a difference in this planet. And I know I'm going to trip and I'm going to fall, but I'm going to keep getting back up because I know that there's people out there that are where they're at in their journey, and they need to hear something that I learned going down my journey. And if we all took on that mindset, we could literally transform this planet. Okay, instead of convincing everybody else that they're wrong because they don't believe the way that I believe, that's not a good strategy, my friend. So you are your greatest influencer. Feel how each word feels, okay? So when you make a mistake, I mean, laugh about it. It's part of the learning process. It's no big deal, okay? Or if you start beating yourself up, feel that. Feel the weight of those words, and you start getting, it's almost like you get a barometer. If it's heavy and it hurts, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Start doing things that going, hey man, it's just part of the learning process. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Let's keep going, okay? Because we truly cannot receive love. We truly cannot receive love until we truly love ourselves. Because there will be parts inside of us that will want to reject it because it's uncomfortable. And I promise you, friends, I could spend a long time talking about this one. I know what it means to have suicidal thoughts. I know what it means to not want to live anymore. I know what it means to drink to oblivion for 8 weeks straight. I know what it means to do the hardest, some incredibly hard drugs, to want to check out of life because I hated looking at myself in the mirror. I know what that means, okay? And I would encourage you to not have to go through what I had to go through before I woke up and went, wow, this life is pretty freaking amazing, okay? You have the right to choose to believe that you are an amazing human being. You have that right. God gave us free will, okay? You are an amazing being. Okay, you have all your experiences. The only meaning those experiences have is the meaning you attach to them. Okay, we all have things happen to us, but it's not what happens to us. It's how the story we've attached to what has happened to us. Okay, hey Nadine, it's great to see you. So and that's Betty. That's great. I love that. You got this. That's right. You do have this. You do have this. And it's just understanding you're constantly evolving. And the more behavioral flexibility you have, the more awareness you have, the more you keep showing up to this show, the more you comment below. Friends, I comment on I'll go through your comments. And if you have a question, I respond to your comments. So please comment below. Take your biggest takeaway, because I can't tell you how many times some of the biggest breakthroughs that people have had is just sharing something that they're terrified to share. I mean, and if they don't share that, the darkness loves that. And it's like darkness will control you until you bring it to the light. Okay? Bring what holds you back to the light. Now, I get there's some things that we got to be sensitive and using some discernment, being in an environment that's supportive and encouraging allows us to do that. I get that. And if you have something like that, by all means, message me. I'll be happy to do what I can to support you. But you will be amazed, like I said before, what we can't be with runs our life. What we can't be with runs our life. Okay? And I've come to terms with the fact that I used to entertain suicidal thoughts on a very regular basis. It's not a part of who I am today. Okay? I don't have, what you feel about me is what you feel about me. It's a reflection of you, not me. I'm totally okay with that. Okay? It was part of my journey. I have forgiven myself for almost killing my sister in a near fatal car accident. Okay? I understand how our mind works. I understand the grace of God. I understand how I found it was by going over the cliff many, 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 many times. Okay? I'm here to tell you, I have battle scars that I have fought for many, many battles of trying to prove to God that I was a worthless human being. And I almost came up successful many times. Okay? You are an amazing, amazing human being that is uniquely designed for a unique purpose in this life. And as I believe it is our responsibility to do everything we can to find out what that is and step into it with all the zeal and all the inspiration and everything we got, investing in you, okay? Investing in you. Nadine, yes, thank you. And it's been an amazing journey, and it's awesome, and I appreciate you being here. Is because you living out your truth is giving other people the permission to do the same thing. Okay? Be all you can be. Okay? Be all you can be. And I'd appreciate it if you guys put your biggest takeaway down here, because, friends, some of the biggest takeaways I've had, I was at an event where there was over 1,000 people there, and we were doing this questionnaire. And on this questionnaire was basically finding out what our money blueprint was and how we've affected it and stuff like that. And this was the beginning of me really getting in touch with my money issues. But I recognized that I had made a decision as a child that money was more important to me. Okay? Now, do you think that affects my ability to attract money in my life at that point? Yeah, big time. Why would I want to attract something in my life that I had believed was more important to me? I'm going to try to push it away. I'd achieve big money, push it away. Achieve big money, push it away. Because I was uncomfortable with it. So I get up and I share this in front of 1,000 people, okay? And when I did, I mean, there was a lot of tears, a lot of cool things, okay? And afterwards, I had a bunch of people come up to me. And this isn't about me, it's about the lesson of it. Is I had a bunch of people coming up to me afterwards and saying, thank you so much for sharing that, because you sharing that made me aware that I had made the same decision too. So friends, when you comment below of what is going through your head as you listen to me, it's going to make awarenesses for other people. And that's why it's important. Please share these videos. Please comment below them. Is because there's people out there that need what you are having happen. The more you wake up, the more aware you become, the more challenges you overcome and things like that. People need that. People need somebody to look to. Someone needs to have hope when they're in the darkness. Be that hope in this world. Be that light in this world. And share your takeaways, because friends, life can be tough sometimes. Life can be really tough. And sometimes there's somebody that's watching this video right now, and I just feel like I got to say this. I feel that there's somebody watching this video right now, and I'm really speaking to them, and they just want to know that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's really going to be okay. And you just keep showing up here, and you just keep putting your one foot in front of the other, okay? It's going to be okay. And there's people here that will support you, and I just feel that I need to say that. So understand, friends, whoever's watching this, there's somebody out there that needs to hear this message, that just needs something to go, I got it, one more day, and I can keep pushing through this, okay? So I appreciate all you being here. And by the way, I put up a new episode on the potentialzoneshow.com, just put it up today. So go to the potentialzoneshow.com, check out my new podcast, and talks about some of what we're talking about today. So the golfer, okay? Remember the golfer that went over and taught the king how to play golf? This is cool. So the golfer goes back, and a couple weeks had gone by since he'd been back, and he was just kind of reminiscing on all these stories that he had with the king, and just like, wow, that was just amazing. I got to spend all this time with this king. And he's like, man, I haven't received my gold club club that he asked for, a golf club. And he's like, I wonder what it'd be. And he says, maybe he's going to send me a gold putter. Maybe he's going to send me a gold golf club or something like that. Because he's like, what would a king send, as a golf club? Well, sitting there one day, and he gets a knock on the door, and he goes to answer the door, and it's FedEx guy. He's like, all right, cool, maybe something here. And FedEx guy hands him this square envelope, and he's like, wow, this is interesting. Imagine that a golf club would fit in that. And he takes it, and he rips it open, and he looks inside of it, and he's like, there's just a piece of paper in here. There's no golf club in here. And then he pulls it out, and it's a deed to a golf club. A golf club. Like the whole golf club. Okay? It's all about perception. And the perception of a king is much different than what we have. And we have a king, we have a creator that is amazing, that can do amazing things in your life. And whatever you call that is up to you. But I want you to know that I have searched long and hard, and I've gone a journey down this thing. And I promise you, I would rather work on discovering what that creator is all about than trying to prove that that the creator isn't there. Because I tell you, the other one is going to give you a lot better benefits, okay? So you are an amazing human being that is designed to walk out your fullest potential. And it doesn't have to be a grandeur thing. It doesn't have to be that, but it's just understanding every single day you influence people. Every single day you have the opportunity to make somebody, to every experience, just imagine every experience, are you going to leave a little seed in that person's life where they went, I just remember that, and that was amazing, and I appreciate that in that person. Be that person. Be that person. Let's make this world a better place, okay? We got to stop getting in this crap that all the media is talking about with the duality. We got to rise above that. We as human beings have every right to do what we can to inspire other people to be all they can be, rather than telling them wrong because they don't agree with us, okay? Friends, I so appreciate you being here. It means the world to me, and I just appreciate you keep showing up. So please comment below your biggest takeaway. And also, if you could share this for me, it would mean the world to me. And again, I will be here Wednesday, or excuse me, it is Wednesday. I will be here Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be blessed, and we will see you Friday. Take care.